What's up, guys? This is Alternative Appetites. I'm Dan Kohler, and this is a special presentation of Renegade Kitchen and the National Foundation for Celiac Awareness. Today we are sponsored by Crunchmaster, and they're making an amazing variety of gluten-free crackers. Go find some on the shelves. What am I holding right here? This is an eggplant, and I will be willing to admit it's a vegetable that took me a very long time to learn to love, but I love it now, and I'm going to show you how to as well. We're going to make a very quick and easy eggplant casserole with some cornmeal, some caramelized onions, some olives, salt, pepper, fresh basil, fresh garlic, and then I'm going to show you how versatile crackers are. We're going to make a crisp topping out of the Crunchmaster crackers. So the first thing you want to do is get started on caramelizing onions. This is one of my favorite secret weapon ingredients. You want to keep some on hand. You just want to have a whole bunch of these in the freezer. They freeze really well because they're basically stored in olive oil. You want to cut the onions as thin as possible because the thinner you cut them, the faster they're going to caramelize. Caramelized onions are great to keep on hand because you can use them in almost everything. You're going to use them in an appetizer and your guests are going to say, "Where did you get these?" And you're going to say, "I made them." Once you have a whole bowl, this is one large yellow onion cut very thin. Go over to the stove and let's make some caramelized onions. Caramelizing onions is really easy. I've got some oil over a medium-high heat just to get it going, and these are my thinly sliced onions. I'm just going to get them right into that oil. Hit them with a little salt. That's going to draw out some of the moisture and help this process move a little more quickly. Give them a quick stir to get everything coated in oil. And then, the most important ingredient in caramelizing onions is time. I know it sounds cheesy, but really, drop the heat all the way down to low and just let this go. It could take 20, it could take 30, it could take 40 minutes. It depends on how good you are with your knife and how thin you slice those onions. And just come back and stir them every 10. You don't have to worry about them burning too much as long as you've got the heat as low as possible. When your onions are all caramelized, this is what you'll have. They're golden, they're sweet, and they're delicious. And like I said, if you make a bunch of these at once, because you're going to take some time to do it, cut up 3 large onions, and only use what you need for this recipe. Throw the rest in a Ziploc bag or a little Tupperware container and keep them in your freezer. They are so clutch to have on hand. But now we need to get to the main player, which is this eggplant. Cut off the top, and then cut it right in half. From here, we're just going to cube it and get this right into a baking dish. Drizzle it with a little olive oil. Hit it with some salt, some pepper, and it's good to go. I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees, and I want you to roast this for 25 minutes, or until the skin gets a little wrinkly, but beautiful, like Grandma. After 25 minutes, this is what we're looking at. This is a dish of roasted eggplant. It's ready to go. Now, we can make our whole casserole. I have half a cup of cornmeal here, and I'm only going to use half of that right now. So, a 1/4 cup. Sprinkle that all over the eggplant, and then take our beautiful caramelized onions and just spread them all over here. You can already smell it. It smells so sweet and spicy and delicious in this kitchen with the fresh basil, the tomatoes open. Speaking of the basil, I'm going to grab a handful of that and just run through it with my knife. Sprinkle that all over the dish. And then, one of my other favorite ingredients is to use Kalamata olives in a recipe because they bring a briny saltiness, so you don't have to add so much salt to a dish. Plus, they've got so much more flavor. I have about 15 pitted Kalamata olives here that I'm just going to sprinkle on top. We're almost done. Take that remaining cornmeal, sprinkle it over. Give me a few grinds of black pepper. And then I have one 28-ounce can of chopped tomatoes. Pour that right into the dish. Give the whole dish a little shake to settle the liquid and to make sure it fits. Now you're ready. We've got the oven still at 400 degrees. I'm gonna slide this back in and bake it for another 25 minutes. Now, while that's baking, let's talk about making a crust with these Crunchmaster crackers. I have 1 bag of their original flavored crackers, crushed up by hand. And then I've got 3 cloves of chopped garlic. Just drop the garlic right in there and hit it with a few tablespoons of olive oil. Only 2 or 3, we don't need a lot. Grab a spoon and just stir that together. Add a little fresh black pepper. And this is the perfect topping. The crackers stay really crunchy, so you get that layer of crunch and then a layer of tomatoes and then a layer of onions and then a layer of eggplant, and the cornmeal absorbs all of the liquid from the tomatoes and plumps up. It's a really beautiful casserole. Once the casserole has been in there for about 20 to 25 minutes, take it out and spread the topping all over. Press it into the tomato a little, and then put it back in the oven for another 10 or 15 minutes. You want to make sure the crackers don't burn, but let them get a little brown around the edges. And that is what I've got right here. The tomatoes bubble up, the eggplant and the cornmeal absorb everything, and this is what it's going to look like. Can you see the layers in there? You've got the cornmeal on the bottom, we've got some roasted eggplant, you can see some onions, some basil, some tomatoes, and that great crackery topping. Like I said, crackers aren't just for dips and parties, they're also to make an amazing topping for all of your casseroles. They're gluten-free and they're great. So thank you for watching Alternative Appetites, and a special thanks to our sponsor, Crunchmaster. I'm Dan Kohler. This has been a presentation of Renegade Kitchen, the National Foundation for Celiac Awareness, and it is time to eat. Mmm.